Okay, so we're going to take you through the proper safety and techniques for using the jointer. This happens to be an 8-inch jointer that we're going to use today. We also have a 6-inch jointer. They're used in pretty much the same manner. This is a tool I'm most concerned about with students due to the fact that there's no guard, there's no brake. There is a guard, but there's no brake. And the guard essentially moves out of the way when you're cutting. So this is one where you really want to be focused and know what you're doing before you get on here. So the purpose of the jointer is to flatten and straighten material. It's used only for surface grain and edge grain. Never edge grain or end grain. Never end grain. Okay, just edge grain and surface grain. So a couple things to watch for here. My one basic rule is just make sure your hands are never touching steel. That's a really important thing. When I was in grade 10, I had a friend of mine run his right index finger through the jointer. I saw him a few years ago. His right index finger still bothers him every day.
This morning, you should be here.
So, okay, a couple of safety things that we have to be aware of. I call this a push paddle. Okay, this gets used when we're doing surface grain. It also gets used when we're doing the edge grain. So we want one of those. I typically like to use a wide push stick when I'm doing wider pieces of material. So basically when I'm doing the surfaces or faces. Then when I'm doing the edges, I tend to use a narrower push stick. I just find it just gives a little better feel to a narrow one when you're jointing a narrow edge. Never joint material that's less than a foot long. Never really less than about a quarter of an inch thick, and never less than 2 inches wide. Okay. Today we're just going to be using a standard 2x4. So I'll use a felt pen just so you can see what we're doing here. So always to make sure to know when it's flat, you have to be able to identify it. So what I suggest doing with a pencil, don't use felt pen. This is just so you can see it on camera. Okay. Put lines across. Okay. I should have looked at this first. I did select the right side. I want my concave face down. Next, I adjust the fence so I don't have too much blade exposed. In this particular case, loosen this off at the back. Don't let it drop too far or the carriage gets stuck. Okay, just have it like that. Pull it forward, okay, until you have, just a little bit of extra blade exposed, not too much. Next, grab your push paddle, grab your wide push stick, and we're ready to go. Hands firmly down. You don't have to put too much pressure on it, but just hold it down firmly. Okay, dig it. Still have some light felt pen marks here, so I'm going to pass it through one more time. Okay, go fairly slow. Give the tool time to work. We don't want to force the tool. And just walk along with the piece. There we go. So now we have a nice flat surface. Now we'd be ready to take this piece over to the thickness planer, plane it to our proper thickness. So when using the jointer, just make sure you're focused. It is a tool that it moves very fast. It's about 20,000 RPM. There are 3 sets of cutter heads on the cutter, or 3 sets of blades on the cutter head. So that's going by 60,000 times per minute. There's a blade going past there, so it can do some damage. Make sure you're not touching steel. Use your push sticks and push paddles. Only do surface grain and edge grain, never end grain. If you do those things, you should be safe. Remember, always wear your safety glasses. Okay, and just be, again, like I said before, be focused on this one. This one doesn't care who you are. It's going to hurt, if you do things wrong, it's going to hurt you, it's going to hurt me, it's going to hurt whoever uses it incorrectly. Okay, that's the 8-inch jointer. We also have a 6-inch jointer here, and it works in the exact same manner. Now, to do edge grain, we want to use the narrow push stick and the push paddle at the front. So we'll bring the fence forward a little bit more. Again, we're going to put marks on here just so you can see it easier. I want to do my concave side down, or my crook. So again, I'm just going to put lines across. You could use a pencil. Okay, it'll probably work better for you. It's just a little easier to see when we use a felt pen. In this case, what I suggest using is using the push paddle. Use that front corner to push your material tight against the fence. Okay? Use a narrow push stick at the back. Like so. Once your left hand gets past the cutter head, just allow the piece of material right here to slide past your push stick. Keep pressure on it. Okay, again, I have to take just a little bit more on. So yeah, with the push paddle at the front and your left hand, okay, just allow, when we're there, to allow this to slide past it. Push stick at the back, push paddle at the front. Now my push paddle will quit moving. I still have lots of pressure against the fence. And so that's how we do our edges. So now we have a nice, perfectly straight edge, and we're ready to go on to the table saw, or whatever the case may be. Usually the table saw.